All right, Ben, I think some boasting is acceptable. You were the only person I knew who was hype on Gardevoir heading into the Journey Together 4K, and then you went on and top 8'd with it, and now it has proven itself to be probably the best deck in the format. How did you know?
So I personally just am a huge fan of the Gardevoir deck. It's basically the only standard deck I've played in the last year since it was released. So 2 rotations has happened and it's stuck around. It just has so many tools. I think it's the most flexible deck in the format. It can do many different things while a lot of the other top standard decks are trying to do one thing. So you're very good at adapting to what your opponent is throwing at you. You have strong cards like Badoo, we've seen is just phenomenal in tons of matchups, and it allows you to get set up. And then you have a wide range of both single prize and multi-prize attackers that are really difficult for your opponent to deal with. Losing the Refinement Kirlia was definitely a loss for the deck, and I think a lot of people coming into the 4K, yourself included, were doubting that it would survive because of losing the Kirlia. And my thought was, every other deck is surviving off of just a Pheasantipity EX anyways. Why can't Gardevoir do the same? You still have all the broken attackers, like the Drifloon and the Screamtail to snipe. Gardevoir EX itself is a great attacker. And you have the most broken card, Monkey Dory. And you can use Monkey Dory better than any other deck. It also is the best counter to what people thought was the best deck in Dragapult EX. Because you can get all those damage counters right back onto their board. And now you also have a secret card called Lily's Clefairy EX, which allows you to hit Dragapult EX for weakness. So it just has way too many tools that I thought, okay, this deck has to be at least good still. And I thought, you know, I'm still going to run it anyways, and it ended up really paying off. Now that 2 regionals have happened, Gardevoir EX has won both of those regional championships since the rotation. It's cracked.
Nuts. And it doesn't look to be slowing down anytime soon. Second place at the Champions League, Miyagi, on a coin flip, and then winning 2 regionals back-to-back. Just absolutely insane. So in today's gameplay, we're going to showcase one of the most essential matchups in standard format right now, one that you've seen played out in finals of regional championships and that you're likely going to see at your local league or wherever you play cards. Ben is going to be piloting Gardevoir EX against myself with Dragapult. Real quick before we get started, I'm really excited to announce that registration is live now for the FullGrip Games Destined Rivals Release Weekend Doubleheader. There is $6,000 of cash on the line for top finishers this weekend, with the $3,000 cash standard Destined Rivals legal event happening on May 31st, and the $3,000 cash Gym Leader Challenge event on June 1st. Mark your calendars, and if you're in the area, make sure to sign up and participate in what is sure to be an awesome weekend of Pokemon TCG action. And if you can't make it out to the event, make sure to tune in on Twitch or YouTube to see the new Destined Rivals cards in action before you can anywhere else. Registration is live now on FullGripGames.com, and space is limited. So if you want to make the trip out, make sure to sign up today. All right, I've got a starter, but it's not one that I want. Good luck, Ben.
Good luck. I'll bench a second Ralts and attach an energy to my active, and I will pass to you.
Draw. All right, I've got a pretty solid opening. Thanks to my buddy Poffin, which I can play and go search out 2 Pokemon with 70 hit points or less. And I think that I want a Badoo so that I can initiate the item lock, and I'm also going to grab a Dreepy. I'll attach Psychic Energy to Halucha, and we'll play Iono. And that's it. Short and sweet. I'll Itchy Pollen for 10.
Alright, I will draw for turn. I'm pretty happy to see that this is your start. No Duskull down and only 1 Dreepy. And thankfully I was able to draw into a Badoo of my own. And so now the Badoo Wars shall begin. I will retreat and I will use Itchy Pollen.
Alright, Ben, tell me a little bit about these Badoo Wars. Are there any secrets to getting ahead once we start kind of using Itchy Pollen against one another? I've seen players put Bravery Charms on Badoo. I've seen players get out the Monkey Dory and start moving damage counters off. What's the key to winning a Badoo War, and how does it go in this matchup?
So now that we've both Badooed, we both want to be able to get to our stage 2s as soon as possible. So this shuts off rare candy, so neither of us can start attacking until we either start going through our stage 1s or end the Badoo lock. I think Gardevoir is favored in the Badoo war because if I'm able to get Monkey Dory down, I can preserve my 30 HP Badoo a lot longer than you can preserve yours. Because after 3 attacks with my Badoo, your Badoo will faint. But if I have Monkey Dory down, I can move the damage off and keep it alive.
That's some really good insights. I'm going to hope that you can't do that. I'll evolve my Dreepy into Dracloak, attach a Fire Energy, and I'll play Iono. Okay. Recon Directive. I'll look at the top 2 cards of my deck, and I put 1 into my hand. And you know what? That's an easy choice because I'm item locked. So I'm going to put the item on the bottom of the deck since I can't use it anyway. Bench Duskull, and I'll Itchy Pollen for 10.
All right. And I will draw for turn. And you have Ionoed me into a fantastic hand. I have an evolution into a Curlia of my own. I've got a Monkey Dory and a Darkness Energy, so I can start moving the damage around. And I also have a Professor's Research, get a second Psychic into the discard pile, and draw a fresh 7. And off of that, I have found yet another Monkey Dory, so I will go ahead and bench that as well. I'm going to use Monkey Dory's Adrenabrain ability to move a damage counter. I'm going to move it off of Curlia to give it as much HP as possible in case Dragapult comes up for an attack. And I can do this where I'm going to move the 1 damage to Badoo to put it up to 20 damage. And then now my Itchy Pollen attack will take the KO while also preventing Andrew from playing his Ace Spec Unfair Stamp and Counter Catcher. So the item lock taking a knockout is exactly what I would want to do here. So I will use Itchy Pollen to take the first prize on Badoo.
I'll promote Dracloak and draw. I'm still item locked, but I can use Recon Directive, and I have found a Professor's Research, so I will take that. Yeah, I've kind of got the nuts, Ben. I don't know if you're going to be able to deal with what I'm cooking here, so let's see. Can evolve into Dragapult EX. I've got Psychic Energy as well. Dusclops, and I'll use Cursed Blast to put 5 damage counters on your Ralts. And you take a prize. And technically you're in the lead, but I've also got Boss's Orders, so I'll use Boss's Orders to bring up your Curlia. And just like that, I am going to be able to take 3 prizes. I'll Phantom Dive for the knockout on Curlia. I'll place 3 damage counters onto Ralts to knock it out, and 3 onto Badoo. Actually going to avoid putting damage counters on the Monkey Dory because they could just move those damage counters back. So we're just going to go 3 and 3 and take 3 prizes. That's half the game right there.
And now, this may look bad for me, but I actually feel like I am in a pretty strong position. I've already taken 2 prizes thanks to the Badoo and the Dusclops, and now Andrew's board is very weak. He has no draw on board. I'm going to be able to Iono him to 3 cards with no draw on board. I'm also going to be able to confuse him with Monkey Dory this turn, while reestablishing my Ralts. So I'm not super worried about this play here. And that's why Gardevoir is so good, because you can come back from even these board states. And now I have my items back, finally. First off, I'm going to play a Night Stretcher to get one of my Ralts back onto my bench. I'm going to use Earthen Vessel, discarding a Professor's Research to get 2 Psychic Energy. I'm going to attach an energy to my Monkey Dory. I'll play Nest Ball, and I'm going to get Clefairy EX. And now my Mind Bend is going to be swinging for 120 damage and confusing Andrew.
Bro, that's nefarious. You don't even have a Gardevoir set up. It's messed up.
I have Artisan in hand, but I don't want Andrew to be able to bench anything else. I will bench my Pheasantipity so I can continue drawing even more cards. And I have Iono in hand already, so I will play my Iono and then draw with Pheasantipity just to increase my hand size.
Yeah, that's a solid rebound there. I'm not gonna lie, it's looking pretty good already.
I'll play Iono, setting Andrew to 3 cards and myself to 4. I'll use Flip the Script to draw 3 more cards. Play Earthen Vessel to discard a Psychic Energy, and I will get a Psychic and a Dark Energy. I'm going to put a Bravery Charm on my Clefairy EX to keep it alive from even a Gust and a Phantom Dive. Then I will use Mind Bend for 120 damage thanks to Clefairy's Fairy Zone ability, giving Dragapult Psychic weakness, and you are also confused.
Dang, that's some foul treatment there for my lone Dragapult EX, and you're right. My Sparse Board State is getting exposed here, Ben. Not the strongest hand for me. I did get set to just 3 cards plus a top deck, and I've got a switch that I could play, but no energy to pivot back. I kind of have to take this turn off attacking. If I go for the flip here and lose it, I most assuredly lose this game. I'll bench Dreepy and use Switch to switch into Halucha, and that's all I've got. I have to pass.
All right, love to see that. I will draw. Now I have a pretty great hand myself. Got my secret box. I've got an Ultra Ball, so that means I am guaranteed the Rare Candy Gardevoir if I want it, with a combination of secret box finding a Rare Candy and Ultra Ball to find a Gardevoir. I am debating on if I want to do that because I would love to also play a Counter Catcher this turn to bring up the Dragapult again. And since there's no other energy on board, I think I might just do that, find a Curlia, and also a Counter Catcher. Deck is freaking broken. I'm going to play a Secret Box, and I will discard Scream Tail and 2 Psychic Energy. And Secret Box allows me to search for an item card, a tool card, a supporter card, and a stadium. Off the Secret Box, I will find Artisan, Bravery Charm, Research, and Counter Catcher. I'm going to Ultra Ball away a Nest Ball and Artisan to find Curlia. Evolve Routes into Curlia. I'll use Counter Catcher to bring up your Dragapult.
Dude.
I'm going to attach this Dark Energy to my Monkey Dory. I'll put a Bravery Charm onto my Pheasantipity. Research for a fresh 7.
Oh my god. I felt like I was in such a dominant position. I cannot believe that you're climbing back. This is crazy.
I'll bench a second Ralts in case something goes wrong, because I still have another Rare Candy in the deck. I've already got 5 Psychic in the discard pile. I have another one in hand, but I'm just going to hold it because I might want to attach it somewhere. I might need to retreat Pheasantipity. So I'm going to hold the Psychic Energy, and I will use Mind Bend for another 120 and confuse you yet again.
It's rough out here for this Dragapult EX. It is confused yet again. I'll draw. Yeah, I hate that I have to do this, but I have to play this Ultra Ball, and I have to discard my Unfair Stamp and Counter Catcher so that I can fish out a Dracloak, because I'm just kind of dead in the water right now if I don't get another Dragapult EX going. So we'll find a Dracloak and see if this Recon Directive can save me. Evolve into Dracloak, Recon Directive. I'll take Jacques off the Dracloak, and I'll play Jacques as my supporter for turn. I guess can search out a Dragapult EX. Feeling it. This is not great. I'll retreat Dragapult EX again. You're down both of your Counter Catcher, and you can't hit this Dragapult on the bench because it's a Terra Pokemon with Screamtail, so I think I want to hold it here. 50-50 on a Monkey Dory for 1 prize while I don't have another energy in play feels pretty bad, so I think I'll just pass here.
All right, I will draw, and now I really would love to find a Gardevoir this turn to take advantage of Andrew passing again. I'm going to Earthen Vessel away this Monkey Dory just to see what is in my deck. Both my Gardevoirs are in there, and my last energy in the deck is this Dark Energy, so I will thin that out of the deck. I'm going to attach it to this Pheasantipity just in case any shenanigans happen. I'll play a Night Stretcher to get my other Curlia down. I have an Iono in hand, and I'm just debating on whether or not I want to give Andrew fresh 3 cards.
Because you know exactly what my hand is.
I do. It is just a Dragapult and a Dracloak. And I know he probably doesn't want to evolve into the Dragapult EX until he can draw out of this anyways. But if I can get a Gardevoir up, then I can start pumping energy into play and start moving lots of damage around with Monkey Dory. And off of a draw of 4, I don't hate my odds. So I think I will commit the Iono and hope to draw into that Gardevoir EX.
You do send my Dragapult EX to the bottom of my deck too. and giving me only 3 cards means that I could have a tough time finding it again.
And he also only has 1 energy in play, and since Unfair Stamp is the A spec, no crystal is coming out. So I'll draw 4, and I have found my Gardevoir EX, and that Dragapult only has 80 HP left. So over the course of the next 2 turns, these Monkey Dories can KO it. I will use Psychic Embrace to put 3 energy onto my Kirlia, giving it 6 damage counters. I will use both of my Monkey Dories' Adrenabrain ability to move all 6 damage counters to the Dragapult EX. And then I'm going to take this knockout with my Kirlia and protecting my most valuable Pokemon on the bench.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. Hawlucha is weak to Psychic, so that Psychic attack will take a knockout.
This also keeps me tied with prizes, so Counter Catcher still not active, and I know that Unfair Stamp is already down. I'm feeling really good about my position here. I'm going to use Psychic for 60 damage times 2, 120.
Yeah, Hawlucha goes down. These are some dire times, most definitely. I think I just have to send Dragapult now. I'll draw. Okay, I have an attack. That's nice. I'll use Recon Directive. Yeah, all your most pertinent Pokemon have Bravery Charms on them. That makes them pretty annoying for me to knock out. I cannot afford to set up another Dusknoir, so I'll put the Duskull on the bottom, keep Boss's orders. Use Night Stretcher. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. And then any extra damage that I do, you could just move onto my side with Monkey Dory. I'm ruined. I'll Night Stretcher for Fire Energy. This is really bad. I'll attach Fire Energy to Dragapult EX. I'll attach Luxurious Cape to Dracloak. Boss's orders on Monkey Dory. I'll use Phantom Dive for the knockout. 200 damage there. And then I think the best thing to do is to put 1 on everybody, and I'll put 2 on Kirlia because it has to be 6. And I will take my 1 prize.
Spreading all the damage does make it a little more annoying, but this Dragapult only has 20 HP remaining. So I will promote my Kirlia with all the energy attached. Draw for turn, and I will use my remaining Monkey Dory's Adrenabrain ability to move 20 damage onto the Dragapult EX to take 2 prizes.
I lose!
I'll play an Ultra Ball to find my other Gardevoir EX, and with Fairy Zone's weakness, I am doing 380 damage into your Dracloak with Miracle Force. GG, Andrew.
And that's it. The game started with a 3-prize turn, and it ended with a 4-prize turn. That was so impressive. I can't believe that Gardevoir was able to come back and win that game after losing both Kirlia and Ralts so early on. That's just unbelievable to me. You seem really dialed into all these different routes that Gardevoir has. I mean, what is it that just makes this deck so strong and capable of mounting these kinds of comebacks?
As you saw there, you just have so many different tools at your disposal. Not only Monkey Dory, moving damage with Monkey Dory is good enough, but being able to buy turns with its Confusion is so extremely valuable in a lot of matchups. Especially when maybe a Badoo goes down early. A lot of decks aren't playing tons of switch cards, so you're forcing them to either coin flip or have a strong enough setup that they have another attacker to pivot into. And in a deck like Dragapult, with only attaching 1 energy per turn, they often don't have that. And so you can take advantage of that by confusing them while you set up your board. You saw there, I was just able to kind of overwhelm you at the end with, all the damage that had been put into place, possible because of the additional weakness from Lily's Clefairy EX. So yeah, even with you taking so many knockouts, this deck loves to just put people to low hand sizes with Iono. Like I said before the game started, a lot of decks rely on Pheasantipity to draw. But when I Ioned you to a low hand size, even if you had Pheasantipity, I wasn't taking a knockout anyways.
Right.
So with the damage manipulation of Monkey Dory, you can avoid taking knockouts to force your opponent to find a way out of it themselves, rather than relying on their Monkey Dory or on their Pheasantipity to draw out of it.
Because you Iono me into Unfair Stamp. So if you had taken a knockout, I was gonna be able to draw cards and maybe find some stuff, but you didn't take a knockout. You just started placing damage counters where you wanted to. I felt like my Dragapult DX was safe on the bench. It wasn't, because once you got Gardevoir going, you were able to just use Adrenabrain and throw damage counters on it, and then take all of your prizes all at once. Is this a deck that you think is just going to go the distance? Do you think Gardevoir is going to stay good all the way until it finally rotates out of Standard?
I do think it will continue to stay good just because of the massive amount of support it has in terms of both great single prize attackers as well as something like the Lily's Clefairy EX. And being able to pump infinite energy into play can never be underestimated. It's just something that not a lot of decks can do. And when you pair that with those strong single prize attackers, it'll be hard for any deck to deal with that as the format continues, no matter what kind of counters come out. Ionoing to a low hand size, confusing, and infinite energy is a recipe for success in the game.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just all the different options you have, all the different ways you can manipulate damage counters. The Monkey Dory, the Screamtail, you can take out the support Pokemon, take big one-hit KOs. It does really seem like Gardevoir kind of has the entire package.
Yes. I do think people will start playing more counters as the format continues. We did just see in the recent Monterey Regional Championship, an Iron Hands deck ended up getting top 8. So with a Turbo Iron Hands deck like that, of course there is play around it, with item lock, with Ionoing to low hand size. But strategies like that become better because Gardevoir has a harder time when, your opponent's taking 2 prizes early. So I think we will see the meta kind of shape now that people are finally starting to accept Gardevoir as the top deck it has always been.
That's sick, Ben. That's sick. Well, congratulations again on your top 8 performance at the FullGrip Standard 3K, and of course on your win in the Gym Leader Challenge 1K. Definitely the winner of the weekend with top performances on both days. I look forward to seeing what you cook up for the Destined Rivals 6K that we've got coming up at the end of May. Now, Ben, for all of the viewers at home who want to stay connected with your content, where can they find you?
So you can find me on YouTube at Morse Makes. I make mostly GLC content focused around our local scene here at FullGrip and the meta itself. I'm a huge GLC fan, but Gardevoir also has my heart. I think I'm already locked in on Gardevoir for the Destined Rivals 3K. The hard part is figuring out what GLC deck to play.
All right. Well, that sounds great, Ben. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure to stay tuned for more decks and more gameplay here on Tricky Gym.